What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SP and Bushy Show. Two lifelong friends who put together a sports podcast. I'm SP. He's Bushy. Bushy, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, buddy. I'm feeling good here in the household. I'm just happy, man. Football is back. Just watching a ton of football yesterday. We had a decent game with Ohio State, Minnesota. We actually had a great comeback with UCF, Boise State. So I was watching that, and then I was watching the first half. Our ACC darling in North Carolina looking very, very flat right now against a very tough Virginia Tech team right now. They're looking pretty good right now.
Well, I think it's still going to be it's obviously early, lots of football starting up, and we're going to start talking about some NFL football because this is going to be our NFL preview show. Like I said, we are both huge football fans, and you're right. And North Carolina obviously struggling right now, but have faith, they're going to come back.
They can always find. They can always find a way to come back. That's always the case with that. They can always come back and have a good second half. But I mean, if it's anything like the first half, it could be a long season for Carolina, or it could be one of those one game anomalies, man. And it's just so great to have fans back in the stands, really, especially in Blacksburg and yesterday in Minnesota. I mean, it was just great. We get all the bad fan reactions too, of all the shock fan reactions too, and they were just pumping and jumping, and then highs to highs and lows to lows. So I was just excited to have fans in the stands again.
It is. It's really exciting, and obviously, I think that's going to make a huge impact in this year's college football season and this year's pro football season. I mean, I think obviously I went to a game last year, and like I said, it just didn't feel like the normal atmosphere. So, like you said, having fans back, it's going to make things really exciting again, and it's going to make it feel like normal again.
Yeah, and I'm very excited too because I'm going. I'm going to try to go, or if not, I'm going next week to the CU Texas A&M game that's played at Mile High. So I'm really excited for that. So, gonna be my first college football game in a while.
Well, that'll be really exciting. That'll be fantastic. I mean, obviously. Like I said, we're very excited to have football back, and like I said, NFL season right around the corner, man. It feels like it just snuck up on us this year, but it's very exciting to have NFL back, ready to go. And we're going to break it down today. We're going to look at the win-loss total predictions for each team and give you our take on it, as well as our division predictions with that, and then kind of Super Bowl prediction too.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Now we're going off of the Vegas Insider projected win-loss totals. That's where we're going. So if you saw something different, we apologize, but that's what we're going off of. And we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. And the bottom naturally starts with the Houston Texans.
I mean, you got to start off with that. I mean, that's the team that's just been really in complete dysfunction, really for the past couple of years now. And now you have this whole Deshaun Watson drama. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Who knows about that? They did really well during the preseason, but again, sometimes preseason doesn't really matter, really. I mean, the 17 Cleveland Browns went, 4-0. And they ended up losing. So I mean,
so did the Detroit Lions the year they went winless. They went.
Yeah, they went 4-0. So really, that could take the cake as well. This is not a very good team. Like, this is a team really that's going to be in rebuilding mode the next 2-3 years, and who knows? And the asking price for Deshaun is just so high, and who knows if they're going to play him. I'm really kind of curious with Deshaun. That's really going to be the big question mark. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play?
I mean, even if he is, I mean, aside from Phillip Lindsay, I don't feel like they made a ton of great additions to this team. And I mean, I still think that they're going to have a really tough road this year.
I agree as well. And they played the AFC East and the NFC West. So that's going to be that is going to be very rough. And they also have the Browns and the Colts as well. As far as with their schedule as well. So I mean, this is a very.
The Colts are in their division, so they're going to have them twice.
They're going to have two games against the Colts and all that. They do, yeah. So it's probably going to be a very tough schedule for them, and they play the Cardinals too, which could be a hard team as well.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to give it to his former team. I think that's for sure.
I know exactly. I mean, really the only games you can kind of see that can kind of win is maybe the Jacksonville games, but those are really going to be toss-ups as well. I mean, they start off the season, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Carolina, and Buffalo, and then they have the Pats too on October 10th. So, I mean, we could be seeing them maybe like a 1-5, 1-4, 1-5 team. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
really, that's their only victory.
Yeah. I think they'll beat Jacksonville in week 1 just because Jacksonville's still going to be figuring it out. But I mean, I think that they will win maybe 1 or 2 games. So I'm actually going to take the under of their projected 4 wins.
I agree as well. I agree. I think they're going to be the under. I think they'll probably be like 3 wins. They'll probably be like 2. And remember, we have a 17-game schedule now. So they'll probably be like 2-14 going into that last game against the Titans. And that may not mean much for the Titans because they probably could have everything locked up for the Titans.
I just think the Titans backups will beat them. I think they're going to go 2-15.
Yeah, we will have to see about that, but it is just really the only throw up games really are against the Jets too. Like, who knows with the Jets, but that's going to be later in the season too. So who knows what this is going to be like. And they have a new coach as well. So I agree. I think they'll probably win their first game against Jacksonville, but then really, I mean, it's going to be really a steep decline for the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. So we're both taking the under there. That's our take on the Houston Texans. They might even get the number 1 pick 2 years in a row.
They could.
I think they will. And now let's go move on. The next team on this list is the Detroit Lions at 4.5 wins.
I think this is going to be the worst team in the NFL. I think it's going to be worse. Yeah, I think we're looking at probably like a 1-16, probably 2-15 team right now.
Worse than the Texans, huh?
They are going to be worse than the Texans. Really, I mean, this is a team that's really kind of in rebuilding mode. Matt Campbell is. I mean, really, he's kind of a psychopath coach. So, I mean, just a really, yeah, he was the only guy. I'm like, I think he was one of those. I'm like, do you really want to coach here? Yes. Really? Yes. Oh, okay. But yeah, but I mean, it's going to be a bad year. I think for the Lions as well. I mean, it is going to be really, really.
Lions are going to have a bad year in football.
Oh yeah. Shocking of shocks.
Are you sure?
Yes, shock of shocks. Here are their last 5 games. I mean, they're on the road against the Denver Broncos. Who knows about that? They're at home against the Cardinals. They're at the Falcons. Who knows what the Falcons are going to be? I mean, they're on the road against the Seahawks, and then they finish up with the Packers at home. I mean, really, that could be one of the wins because the Packers could probably have that division, really swept up in probably mid to late November and stuff. And yeah, and we're going to get stuck having to watch them on Thanksgiving against the Bears. So it's going to be a crazy time for the Lions.
I know it's a weird concept, Bushy, but you do not actually have to watch the game. You don't have to watch the Lions. You can skip that on Thanksgiving.
It's either that or the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, really, I don't want to see a bunch of balloons floating around and then, have like a music act where I'm going like, oh, he's still alive, or who's that guy? I'd rather watch the Jared Goff and the Lions, and it could be Justin Fields, for the Bears. So that could be at least a little bit attractive with that.
I don't know. That Garfield balloon floating through New York City might be better than watching the Lions this season.
Garfield against Goff. That's what I want.
In any event, 4.5 wins. It sounds like you're going to take the under. I think that's actually a pretty good projection for this team, but I still think they do go under. I think they go 3-14 or 4-13. I think they're going to go. I think Stafford's literally a lateral move for both of these teams. I don't think it really benefited anybody. But that said, I think the Lions probably sneak away with 1 they shouldn't and finish with a better record than the Texans.
I think they're going to be 2-15. They're going to be the worst team, and they're going to have the number 1 pick, and they're going to have to choose between some of these quarterbacks, really. And they're going to start off with another quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to find out how good Goff is now that he's kind of switched systems. And I mean, like you said, I think Matt Campbell's going to be a horrible coach. But that said, I mean,
he's going to be a good soundbite coach, but not a good actual good coach.
Oh, he's going to be fantastic. He's going to be like one of those Herm Edwards type coaches that we just keep like hearing these sound bites. Just sound like insane.
Exactly. Yes. It's going to be one of these. It's going to be one of these years.
It certainly is. I mean, once again, it's like it every year for the Lions. So the Lions are
Yeah.
bad. The Lions have been bad for pretty much ever. So
They, I mean, they had a couple of good years with in the early to mid 2010s, but yeah, it's been just really just all downhill after that for them.
I mean, sort of. It's not like they did anything fantastic, even the seasons they were good. They made
Right.
it to the playoffs once.
Once, twice, yeah, but then they lost in the wild card
Okay,
round.
I guess they went
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah,
They haven't
and
won a playoff game since 91.
Yeah, it's a team that has not won a playoff game in 30 years. We're on 30 years now since they've won a playoff game. We've had people who've had children that have never witnessed a Lions playoff victory.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't think they're going to witness one this year either.
I don't think so either. It's going to be a long, long time before we talk about the Detroit Lions being in the play or being in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now, the next team on this list, the New York Jets, they are predicted at 6 wins. What are your thoughts on the Jets and 6 wins, Bushy?
Oh man, this is kind of tough. I mean, they're kind of in a tough division. Really, I guess really the Texans probably their wins. They do play the Eagles as well, and I don't think the Eagles are going to be very good. So that could be like a toss-up victory. They do play the Broncos early, so they could probably sneak away with the win on that end as well. And then they got the Jaguars as well. So I mean, I'm kind of looking at probably 4 or 5 wins for them. I mean, I think they're going to be just slightly under as far as with them. But I feel like they're going to be a really frisky team. Like they're not going to be put away.
Frisky.
Yeah, they're going to be a really, really frisky team this year. I think they're really going to be a frisky team where you're just like, you're going to be sweating out a lot of these games. Yeah. If you had them and, in one of these games gambling wise, but yeah. Yeah, they're just going to be frisky.
I mean, I'm looking at this schedule now, and I think 6 is actually a really good projection for this team. I think that they're going to get to that 6 wins. I don't want to go over or under. I actually like them at 6 wins.
I agree. I agree with you. I thought about the 6 wins, but I was just kind of looking at their schedule. There could be like a fluky win here or there. They could beat the Falcons.
They could beat the Falcons, yeah.
Yeah, they could beat the Falcons. Yeah, that could be like one of these. And that Falcons game is a London game too. So, I mean, that's a thing as well. And who knows what the Patriots are going to be? Who knows what the Dolphins are going to be this year? I mean, yeah. I mean, they could probably steal one of the Dolphins games as well.
I mean, they got the Jaguars and the Texans. Like, I'm going 6 wins on the Jets this year.
I'm going to go slightly under. I think they get to 5, but they're going to be a real frisky team that nobody wants to play.
Yeah, they're going to be an interesting team this year. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yes.
All right. Now, there's 3 teams on this list at 6.5 victories. We'll start in the NFC East just because we haven't talked about it yet. And let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, man, this is – I don't know who the Eagles are going to be this year. I feel like they are going to be a bad team this year. They do play the AFC West, and
that's a tough division.
That is going to be a very tough division and stuff. And they do play the NFC South too, which could be a tough division as well. So it's like, you have the Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers as well. And then, obviously you have the Cowboys, you have the Washington football team, you have the Giants. I mean,
right.
I mean, it's just, really, the Lions are probably going to be one of the wins and stuff. I mean, they could win against the Panthers. Yeah, they could win potentially
against the Jets. You never know.
They could beat the Jets.
They could beat some teams in there.
Yeah, they could beat the Giants. They could beat the Giants. They could beat Washington. They could beat the Cowboys once in a while. This is 6.5. 6.5. I'm going to go low. I think they get to 6. I really do. I think they get to 6 wins. I think they go 6-11 as far as with that schedule because of the NFC East. Really, it's really because of the NFC East. I think they go slightly lower. Yeah, if it was 6, I would have. It would have been perfect for me.
See, I'm going to go slightly lower. They might. I agree. I think they do. They're going to finish somewhere with 4 to 6 wins here. Once again, the schedule isn't super difficult, but I mean, they don't have a lot of good players at the skill positions to help out Jalen Hurts. And I mean, I don't think that they have a good enough defense either. So I think that they're gonna struggle this year. I think they, like I said, I put them at 4-13, maybe 5-12.
Yeah, I have them slightly below. I think they're gonna go 6-11 just because of the NFC East factor, and they
Right.
could steal a game here or there with the NFC
They
East.
certainly could.
They could steal 2 to 3 games, which that could probably help them to get to that 6-win mark for me.
That's why I'm factoring them in. I'm factoring that in and getting them to 4-5.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the Jaguars at 6.5 wins.
This is a team really. 6.5, I feel like is really, really high for this team. I know it's like the urban factor, but this is going to be an interesting year as far as with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have a new coach, new quarterback, new regime. It's going to be crazy to think. And really the preseason really hasn't showed much at all as far as with this team. And really, I think 6.5 is just way too high for them. I think they're going to go down. I think they're probably going to be like a 5-12, 4-13 type of team with the 17 game schedule.
I think they might finish 6-11. I think that's a good window for this team. Let's not forget that they get the Texans twice. I think that they lose the first one, win the second one, but I think they kind of find their groove after that. I think they're going to beat the Dolphins. I think they're going to beat some of these other teams that are mediocre on their schedule, like the Jets. And I don't think the Colts are going to be that good this year either. So I think that they have an opportunity to really kind of steal some wins here, but I still think they finish maybe 6-11. Like I said, I think the 6.5 is a good projection, but I think I have them at 6-11.
Yeah, it is an interesting projection, especially for a team that went 1-15 last year. So, and it's just, they bring back a defense and the offensive line that kind of stayed back, and really they can't really judge them from the preseason. They can't really run the ball yet. And the defense really looks in shambles. So we could be looking at, a lot of high scoring games, or it's one of the case too, where the other team's up 35-3 going into the fourth quarter. And then they get these pity, by the way, touchdowns to try to make it a little bit closer than what it really was.
Yeah, that said, I think that you can't judge too much based on the preseason. You can't do it.
Yeah, there's some stuff that you can judge on the preseason, and some not. You can't. You could definitely judge on the team if a team's going to be bad or not. And I think the Jaguars are going to be a really, really bad team. Not the worst team in the league, but they're probably going to be picking in the top 5 again in 2022's NFL draft.
I don't know about that.
I think so. I
think they're going to fall in that 7 to 12 range.
It could be a case too, where it's like they struggled at first, but then they get like really hot, after Thanksgiving, they roll off, kind of 3-4 victories, that type of thing, and really kind of propel them a little bit. So I could see that as well. So that could help them with getting to that 6.5 wins.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's where we're going to be interesting, seeing what Trevor Lawrence looks like in the NFL now that he doesn't have that Clemson team protecting him. So like I said, it might be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see them. I can't wait to see what they do. That said, I think I'm going 6-11, finishing maybe second or even third in that division.
Yeah, I have them going probably that 5-12 mark.
Yeah.
And they could
under there.
Yep. We're going to go both under.
Now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals.
Again, it's like, why is this team 6.5? Really? Is it because of the 17 game schedule?
They won 4 last year.
Yeah, they won 4.
Super far of a
they won 4 last year. Really, it all depends on the health too of Joe Burrow. That's going to be the big question mark too. And has that defense improved a little bit? It really was, kind of a lacking defense as well. That's really the question mark that they kind of have. And really, it all depends too on their schedule and with the AFC North too. Is the Steelers going to be bad? Who knows what the Ravens are going to be? Who knows what those two teams as well? And then we have it with Cleveland, and then they play the AFC, they play the NFC North too. So I mean,
the Lions.
They get the Lions, they get the Bears. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Vikings too? So actually, I think this is going to be an upset. I think they're going to be slightly over. I think they go that 7-10 mark. I think they hit it right at the end.
Oh no, they better get there early because they finish with a real tough road, man. Because they host the Niners, they go to the Broncos, they play the Ravens at home, the Chiefs at home, and then they go at Cleveland to finish the season. So they got to get hot early, I think.
I hope they're at that six win mark, and I hope they're at that 6 win mark, and they play the Browns, and that's when the Browns kind of wrapped everything up and they're kind of rested. I'm really hoping about that. You know what? I'm going to have them just a slightly above. I have them still probably. I think they actually may finish. I think they're still going to finish 4th, but I think they're going to be surprising 7-10 team this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very strong division, and that's the tough part for them. I mean, they do have some soft games, Jaguars, Lions, Jets, some of the teams we've already talked about on this schedule. Like you said, the Bears, the Raiders, and Chargers are both question marks as well. So, I mean, I think that they finish. I'm going to go 6-11 again. I think they just go slightly under it.
Well, and they have to play the Raiders too. Who knows what? And it's later in the season, Raiders. So we know with the track record we've had with John Gruden. So later in the season, they could probably sneak out that victory where we'd be talking about maybe the Raiders being like, "Oh, Raiders are done again."
Speaking of the Raiders, let's talk about them.
Let's do it.
7 wins, the projection for the Raiders.
7 wins. That sounds about right. I think with Vegas, they do. Really their question is too. I mean, really, they had a strong point with the offensive line. The offensive line was kind of their strong point, but they've lost a couple of people here or there. And really the big question is can the defense improve too, which I don't think they've really made some strides for them to really kind of improve that defense. Their schedule is kind of tough. The first kind of 4 games of this, 4 games of the season, they're home against the Ravens on the Monday night, and then they're at the Steelers, and then home against the Dolphins, and then they're at the Chargers. That's a very tough 4-game schedule as well.
Yeah, I mean, 7's a really good projection for this team. I have them I just went through the schedule. I have them going 6-11.
I have them. I think 7's perfect. I think they go that 7-10 route. Pretty good. But yeah, I have them perfect. At that 7-10, and they, and it's one of these cases too. They may kind of falter at the end of the season as well.
I mean, they have some good rookies, so they might come in. I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting. I think they're going to finish at that 6 wins, 7 wins. So like I said, Vegas with a good projection there. I'm not 100% sure where they finish, but I think it's going to be, like I said, right around 6 or 7 wins.
Yeah, and they play the NFC East this year, which is it's not a very good division as well. So that could be a factor in. They do play the AFC North too, so it's just you have the Ravens, Browns, and Steelers. So that could factor in some losses as well. And then obviously they have to pay the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos twice. So if they could split maybe the Chargers and then the Broncos, and then maybe they lose to the Chiefs, or maybe they can sneak out a victory like they did last year, where they sneaked out a victory against the Chiefs as well. So we could see about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the Giants. They're also projected at this 7-win mark.
I mean, this is like a really weird wild card team, I think, as far as with like the Giants. Like,
you think they're gonna make a wild card?
No, I mean, this is like the wild card team. Like, it's just like, it's so weird as far as with this team. It's just like people really have them high. And I think this is probably going to be one of the more disappointing teams. I think they're actually going to finish. I think they're actually going to finish probably lower than the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the New York Giants are going to be lower than the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Really, I mean, the only strong point is probably their defense. But then obviously they had the question mark with Daniel Jones. Is he actually going to produce? Is he actually going to be good? Really, I mean, the only thing that's going to help them is maybe playing the NFC East.
Yeah, that's going to help them. I have them going about to the 7-win mark. I think they take some steps forward. Obviously, they get Saquon back this year. They have some good players on offense. I think that their defense is still kind of questionable. But like I said, I think with the weak division that they're in, 7 wins is probably about right for them because they do get the Eagles twice. They get the Dolphins, who I don't think are going to be good. And I think the game between them and the Raiders, I think, is going to be really what decides which one of those two teams gets to that 7 wins.
Yeah, and they have I think their last 5 games too could help them as well.
Yeah.
They got the Chargers on the road. I mean, that could be a pro Giants crowd too. I mean, that really could be a pro Giants crowd. I think people really forget about that, and then obviously they're, at home against the Cowboys, on the road against the Eagles, and then they're at the Bears, and then at home to finish off against the Washington football team. So we will have to wait and see with that. I mean, that's a nice, maybe a nice end of the 5 games to really kind of maybe help propel. But again, if Daniel Jones really stinks, I mean, this is a crowd that really could turn on Daniel Jones like that, especially in week 1, too. If he has a bad showing against the Broncos, oh my God, like they're just going to absolutely just boo him to the extent. Yeah.
He will. That's going to be a really rough defense to start against for him.
I mean, they start off actually against the Broncos and the Washington football team. So, I mean, that's 2 pretty good defenses out of the gate too. They get the Falcons, but then they have the Saints as well. And then they get the Cowboys, but then they play the Rams. So, and then they play the Panthers. So, I mean, the Panthers could be an okay defense too.
It's not a tough schedule.
It's not a tough schedule, but I mean, really, I mean, if everything kind of turns as far as with Daniel Jones, that could be a fascinating thing to watch.
It's going to be a fascinating team, honestly, just to keep tabs on. That said, I think they do get to that 7 wins.
Just because I think they're going to be lower. I think they're going. That's my bold prediction. They're going to be the last place team in the NFC East.
Wow,
they're going to be the last place team.
They're going to beat the Eagles twice.
Yes way.
Eagles aren't good.
I like it.
All right. I mean, bold predictions. That's what we're talking about. The Giants stinking. Daniel Jones getting booed out of the building. That is what Bushy is projecting right here on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Now we got 3 teams here at the 7.5 win plateau. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Why not?
Why not? This is like a really, like the Giants. This is going to be an interesting team. Again, new coach. And it's a team that had really a ton of bad luck last year. I mean, with those 4-quarter disasters that they kind of had. So I mean, if they turn that luck around, that could probably help them as well. And really, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year as far as with the Falcons. I'm really kind of curious. I think they go just a little bit higher. I think they go in that 8-9 range. I think they go 8-9. I think they're just slightly over their mark. I think they go 8-9. Are you looking at the schedule?
I am.
The schedule.
I have them going 5-12.
Ooh, you're going low.
Real low. 5-12 for the Falcons. I don't have a lot of faith in this team. They lost Julio Jones. They haven't looked good in the preseason. Once again, we've talked about it. The preseason doesn't mean that much, but I mean, Matt Ryan's getting older at this point in his career too. I mean, their starting running back is Mike Davis, who, I mean, has never had the best career stats of anyone. I mean, he's not a stud by any stretch of the imagination. So, I mean, I don't think that they're going to be that good this year. I think that they finish, like I said, kind of low here. I think they finish 5-12.
Well, I mean, we could easily see that. Like, I think they bounce back. I think they, maybe a couple of the 4-quarter lucks kind of help them with that maybe kind of propel them to a couple of wins here and there. So that's why I think they're just going to be a slight over. I think they go 8-9. So yeah, they're kind of 500-ish team. I feel like this is a 500-ish football team. I mean, we can't get 500 as far as with the I know no one's 500 anymore. Yeah, but this is a 500.
I guess someone could go 8-8 and have one tie.
That's what I want now. I want an 8-8 and 1 team. That's what I want.
I don't want that. I hate ties. I wish the NFL would end that.
Oh, nope. They're gonna have that.
All right. In any event, like I said, I have the Falcons lower. Let's look at their division mates here. Let's look at Carolina, also projected at 7.5 wins. And this is another team I think could be interesting this year. I mean, So many injuries last year, unfortunately. I mean, obviously Christian McCaffrey being out really hurt him, but then they also went and got Sam Darnold. So
The NFC South is, I think, one of the more fascinating divisions, I think, this year, because it's just really, I mean, it's like the Bucks, and then like you could really have like a hodgepodge of like, oh, this team could be good, this team could be good, if a break here or a break there, this team could work. I mean, and with the Panthers, I mean, really, it all depends on like Matt Rule. Does the second year Matt Rule do well? Does Sam Darnold really take it up a notch or something like that? Or is he just like New York Jets Matt Rule? Really, the question mark really is probably the offensive line. Can they help protect him and Christian McCaffrey as well? Is the defense going to step up again, or is the defense going to step up? I mean, because the defense really wasn't that good. I mean, they made Drew Lock look like an all-pro quarterback. So, I mean, it is going to be a fascinating team. 7.5. I think they're going to go low. I'm going to pick the under. And yeah, it's just so funny. I mean, it starts out week 1. We get Jets against Panthers. Sam Darnold revenge game. I want it. Give it to me, baby.
I can't wait to see that on the red zone. It's going to be great. I honestly could start 3-0, and then I think they're going to tank after that. So, I mean, I think.
Yeah, they could start 3-4-0, or 3-4, 3-1, 4-1. I mean, just like at their schedule.
4-1. They could be 4-1, 5-1. Like, they're going to be an interesting team this year. I think they finished 7-10. So once again, I feel like I've picked the under on all of them so far, but I'm picking the under again.
It's just so fascinating. Yeah. But I think they're going to, I think they're going to be under, and I think because of the Atlanta factor, and then who knows what the Saints are going to be. And then, they do play the Patriots. Who knows what the Patriots are going to be? They do play the Cardinals. They do play the Dolphins, and then they have to play the Bucks twice. But they play the Bucks really at the end of the season. They do. And who knows what Tommy and him are going to be at the end of the season as well.
Yeah, they could be resting for that last game. That's true.
Yeah, they could be resting for that last game, or it could be a case too where Tommy is just not Tommy anymore, and finally he falls off a cliff. I mean, we've been waiting for it for about 4 or 5 years now, but this could be the year he finally falls off a cliff.
After praying for that for 20 years, I think I've just grown to accept that this is life, and that Tom Brady's going to be playing until he's 60 and win the next 15 Super Bowls.
Oh, I'm praying.
Also, the Panthers, I don't think get it. I think they get to 7-10. I mean, I think Darnold is just not the answer for anyone at quarterback.
I don't think so either. I'm going to pick the under for them. I think probably like a 6-11, probably a 5-12 team.
Yeah, that could be too.
Yeah. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why I picked Atlanta.
The only reason, yeah. Atlanta, yeah.
That's the reason why I picked Atlanta high, because of the Panthers factor. Really,
I think they're both going to be about even.
We'll have to wait and see with that.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Bears. Bears were a playoff team a year ago.
Yeah, they were a playoff team. That's all we could say really about this team. I know. And they played in the, obviously the greatest game ever played, really, in that Nickelodeon wildcard playoff game.
Yeah.
So this is the team I think that's really going to take a step back. I think we could probably see, I got a bold prediction. Matt Nagy's going to be the first coach fired. I really do. I think it's a team that's going to start out really, really slow. They're going to start out probably their first 4 games were against the Rams, at the Rams, and then they're home against the Bengals, and then they're at the Browns as well. I mean, those
sounds like 2 wins to me.
And then they're at home against the Lions. So, I mean, they could start like 2-2, or they could start 1, but then it's like
3-1.
But they really, I mean, they play the Raiders on the road. So the early Raiders. So that could be a good thing. And then they're home against the Packers, and then they're at the Bucks, and then, home against the 49ers. And then I think November 8th, we probably could see Matt Nagy, because they played the Steelers and the Ravens. And they got a bye week between those 2 teams. I think if they're starting out slow, Matt Nagy will be fired by April 9th.
April 9th, huh? Bold prediction.
Yep.
April 9th.
Or November 9th. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're going to fire him before the draft.
Yeah. 2 weeks before, they're going to swap him out.
Yeah, they're going to swap out. No, November 9th, we'll probably be talking about Matt Nagy being first coach fired.
I'm going to predict that they go 13-4 and Matt Nagy wins coach of the year.
With Justin Fields, winning rookie of the year.
Right. Absolutely. That's definitely going to happen.
I mean, 7.5. I mean, if you want to pick the over, that's 8 wins.
I'm definitely taking the over.
Oh, I think they're going to go under. I think they'll probably get the 2 wins against the Lions. Oh, geez. I mean, just looking at the schedule, that's 4 wins. I mean, they get a couple of wins here or there. They could probably be that 6-7. I think they're going to be slightly under. I think they'll probably
go 9-8.
I think they'll probably be 7-10.
That's
going to be they're going to be a 7. Yeah, they're going to be a 7-10 team, and Matt Nagy's going to be fired. And then the coach, and then they make the transition to Justin Fields, and then he kind of lights it up, and then everybody kind of, or he could stink too.
Matt Nagy is safe this season, man. He's going to be 9-8. They might even get a playoff spot. They might go 10-6.
How this team was a playoff team was really just
because of Matt Nagy.
No, it's because of the defense, and then somehow they pulled games out of their butt with Nick Foles and all that at quarterback too.
They still have it.
Yeah, they do. They do. But really, when you have Andy Dalton to start out the season, I mean, do you trust Andy Dalton?
No, not at all.
You trust Andy Dalton? Yeah. I mean,
no, I don't. But they're going up against the Rams, and I don't trust Matt Stafford either.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. That's going to be an interesting
Bengals. I mean, like I said, they get 2 games against the Lions. Like, I mean, this is a winnable schedule. They're gonna surprise the Packers 1 game. They're gonna beat Minnesota once. I think they're gonna be 9-8. 9-8.
No, they're going to be under. Matt Nagy's going to get fired. I think everybody's sick and tired of the Matt Nagy thing, Matt Nagy experiment.
What do you have against Matt Nagy? He was in the playoffs last year with Nick Foles at quarterback.
He pulled these games out of his butt. Like, really, yeah. I watched a lot of Bears games. I watched a lot of Bears games, and I'm just going like, how did this team win? Like, you're just like, how did this team win?
Yeah, and Vic Fangio flushed games out of his butt. So I mean, what are you? I mean. Like I said, exactly. I'd rather have the coach that's pulling games out of his butt.
Well, this is the year the luck turns. This is the year the luck turns.
Or maybe
and I think Nagy is going to be really, really. Yeah, I think Nagy's
even on the hot seat. He went to the playoffs last year. It'd have to be like 0-10 for him to get fired on November 9th.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's safe, man. Safe.
No. He won't be. And then November 9th, you got to eat your words to say back-to-back
playoff seasons. He's gonna be fine.
No, you're gonna be saying you were right, Bush. You were right. Matt Nagy was a terrible coach.
All right, be sure to watch us again November 9th.
The November week of.
I'm gonna put it in my phone calendar actually right now, just to smack talk you on November 9th and say Matt Nagy still has a job and the Bears are 5-4.
That could be too. Yeah, hey, and I'll leave my words.
All right. Oh man, there's like 4 teams at 8-5 or at 8.5 wins. That's gonna be an interesting group here.
It is gonna be an interesting group. And just looking at the teams, I'm like, All
right, let's start with the Steelers. Why not?
I mean, this is a team really, I mean, that started out really hot last year and then really, really started fading. And then obviously we saw it with that disastrous playoff game that they had. Really, I mean, it's just, it really was a disaster as far as with that. I mean, here are their first 5 games. I mean, they're on the road against the Bills, and then they're at home against the Raiders, and then they're at home against the Bengals, then they're at the Packers, and then they're back home against the Broncos. I mean, we could see them maybe being 3-2 at that point, and kind of struggling.
3-2.
Or we could see them 4-1 or 5-0 when they're somehow the greatest team ever. I mean, this team is really just a complete wild card as far as with that. I mean, this is. I mean, I could see every scenario happening with the Steelers this year. Yeah, where it's like you could see them maybe as 13-4, or you could see them as 5-12.
They definitely could be. This is going to be an interesting team to watch this year. I'm very excited to see what the Steelers do. I mean, I think that they're on the rise, though. I mean, not on the rise. I think they're going to decline a little bit, but I think that it's not going to be down to 8.5 wins. I mean, they are still a good team. I think Mike Tomlin's a little underrated as a coach.
I'm gonna have them go just a little bit over. I think they go 9-8. Like I just feel like this is like
9-8 still over.
I know. I'm gonna have them go over. I feel like this is a perfect 9-8 team for some reason, where it's just like they win some games they should win, and then they lose some games they shouldn't have lost, and you're just scratching your head. It really all depends on the health of Big Ben, and they got a new offensive coordinator. He's kind of doing some stuff as well. I mean, they have the weapons, but then the offensive line stinks. You know, it's like they have a good front seven on defense, but then their secondary is very questionable. Like this is a team with a lot of cues and question marks really going into the season, and a team too depth wise. I don't think they have really good depth. So if they get an injury here or there that we saw last year, they got an injury here or there to some of their top players. And it really kind of cost them, the last half of the season.
It certainly did. That certainly did. I mean, I gotta agree with you. I think they're 9-8. I look at this schedule, and I think it feels like a 9-8 schedule.
It does. It feels like a perfect 9-8 team where you're just like, how is this team 9-8? Like, really, you're just going to be like, how is this team 9-8?
I think 9-8. I think they're a good 9-8.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. This is another interesting. All these teams are interesting. I'm just excited to have football back. Maybe that's what it is. It's so hard up.
Just looking at these 8.5 win total teams, like you're just like they're like complete. They're just like the complete wild card teams where you could just expect anything, I know. But I feel like this team. I feel like this team really kind of takes a drop off as well, and it just. No way. I mean, they have the Kyler factor.
They had a JJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean, who's brittle? He really is.
He's a little brittle. I'll give you that.
He is a little brittle. I mean, it's
but
just
maybe
it's like
he plays a whole season. What happened?
Maybe we will have to wait and see with that. I mean, we'll have to wait and see with that one. And yeah, I just feel like, playing in the NFC West, which, could be a tough division this year, but who knows? The Rams are going to be a question mark. Really, the 49ers are going to be a question mark. We'll have to talk with them as well. So yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, here's their first 4 games. I mean, they're on the road against the Titans, then they're at home against the Vikings, and then they're on the road against the Jaguars, but then they're at the Rams too, and then they got Rams, 49ers, or Browns, and that 3-game stretch. I mean, that could be a killer for them. And it was a team too that really started out hot.
Texans right after that, though.
Yeah, then they get the Texans, but then they get the Packers.
I mean, once again, I think we're talking about a 9-8 team here. I think they go 9-8 for some reason, for some asinine reason. They give the Seahawks trouble every time they play them.
I agree with you 100%.
They could beat the Seahawks. They could beat the Seahawks twice. They probably won't. I think they're going to split with the Seahawks and finish 9-8, maybe even 10-7.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is a 9-8 team, and it's gonna be a lot like what that they had last year, where it's just they had a lot like I'm talking about the Steelers too. I just feel like the Steelers and Cardinals are kind of just intertwined with this team. It's just like you're gonna be like, how is this team 9-8? Because they've won games they shouldn't have won, and then they lost games they shouldn't have won. I mean, really, it all depends on if the coach Cliff Kingsbury, he really is like a big question mark as far as with that.
I think they're gonna be good. I think they go 9-8.
I think so as well. I think they go 9-8.
Yeah, interesting. They're gonna be an interesting team.
Yes.
Let's talk about the football team, though. The Washington football team.
The Washington football team. Okay, this is a team that really, I mean, that came out of nowhere and kind of snuck up and won the NFC
Division
East
winner.
Yep. They kind of snuck up and won on the NFC East last year.
Yep.
That's the only problem, is that they're going to have to play a first place schedule. So, they're going to have to play they're going to have to play the Saints, and they're going to have to play, all these other teams as well. So, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. And they have to play the AFC West too this year as well. And then they play I
got a bold prediction for you, Bushy.
What is it?
Bold here. The Washington football team wins its last 5 games and goes to the playoffs. It's all division games at the end. They have Dallas, twice, Philadelphia twice, and the Giants twice, or Giants once. It's a weird ass schedule. I think that they win their last 5 games and get into the playoffs.
Right, and they play the Raiders too, later on in the season too. So we had the late John Gruden Raiders, I know I've sounded like a broken record, but really, I mean, I mean, you have the late John Gruden Raiders. I mean, that they could win 6 games, and kind of sneak into the playoffs again. And we could be talking about that.
They're going to be 2-7 to start the season, and then they're going to go on this amazing run that's going to put them at 9-8, and they will win the division and go to the playoffs.
9-8 would win the division.
Of course it's going to. That's the same division they were in last year. They're going to.
I think so. I think they go 9-8, 10-7. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they win like the last 5-6 games, and they kind of go on it.
They have,
and they kind of go 10-7. Yeah, I think they go over as well.
I mean, I saw a tip today with Mike Greenberg picking him to go super high. I mean, they have Fitzpatrick's somehow solid. He's not great, but he's never bad. But I mean, he's kind of got a 9-win ceiling. That's his ceiling.
Really, the question is can the defense, step up again like they did last year? This was a really good defense, and maybe if they have a couple of injuries here, well, we may not be talking about them that day. But again, the division is so bad that you gotta put every team in this division, kind of hoping. Oh yeah, except for the Eagles, yeah, probably. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Washington football team wins it. I think they go 10-7. I'm picking the over.
I'm picking the over somehow too.
Yes.
All right. Then let's talk about our hometown boys, the Denver Broncos, 8.5 wins.
Oh man, this is gonna be this is a team really. I mean, they could in reality really start 3-0 to start the season. Really. I mean, they're
Fangio's fired.
Yeah.
Which could be better for the team in the long run.
Yeah. They got the Giants on the road, and then they got the Jaguars 2 on the road. So starting off with 2 road games, but and then they get the Jets. I mean, really, that could be that. I mean, really, their first true test. I mean, it's probably that 4 game that could really tell if it's going to be a good team or not when they're at home against the Ravens, but then they're at the Steelers, and then they're home against the Raiders, but then they're at the Browns too, and then home against the Washington football team. I mean, this is going to be a very, very the Browns too on a Thursday night too. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting team. I mean, that 4 stretch could really tell you if it's, if they're going to be a good team or not, that 4 stretch too.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they stay healthy. I think that they are going to be much better this year than they were last year, just by the nature of the schedule. They have a really deep defense now, except maybe at linebacker. I mean, I think that they definitely make some strides this year. I think Teddy Bridgewater is at least consistent. You know what you're going to get out of him back there. It's not going to light the world on fire, but he's not going to just completely blow up either, like Drew Lock did at times last year. I have this team going way over the 8.5. I think they go 11-6, or maybe even 12-5, just based on how soft the schedule is.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm
I know you're going to say it's being a homer, but it's just such an easy schedule.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too. I mean, I think this is 11-6. I think this is an 11-6 team, and they could sneak in and probably get that seventh wild card spot.
I don't think they're going to get the 7th one. They might get the 5th or 6th.
I think they could sneak in and probably go into the playoffs. I mean, and it's one of those you kind of look back and like, oh, that really, I mean, it really depends on the health of the defense, really, and then Vic Fangio's, if he's somewhat competent, in these close games, and then he finally figures out if that's really the question mark too. I mean, if the defense,
that's the biggest question mark is
the health, and then Fangio's incompetence. Really, those are like the big question marks, really, because this is a team that really looks good on paper. It really does. I mean, this is a team that really, really looks good on paper. And if Teddy's kind of steady Teddy, but I mean, he really has weapons around him compared to last year, in Carolina. Right. But it's just like, I think this is probably one of the best weapons that really Teddy's probably ever had at quarterback, as far as with wide receivers and linemen and running backs too. So this is going to be a really interesting team. I mean, I mean,
This is a team that, played a lot of close games last year. Fangio blew it against the Titans,
yeah.
kind of blew it against the Steelers. That was like a potential 2-0 start that they kind of blew. They lost to Tampa Bay handily. They lost to Kansas City handily. But, they lost to the Falcons and probably shouldn't have. The game against the Saints, they had to start without a quarterback. So basically, that was kind of a wash too. They took the Chiefs to the limit in Arrowhead. This is a team that like blew it against the Chargers, blew it against the Raiders. Like they blew it so many times last year. So once again, as long as Fangio just does not completely mess it up, they should be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, here's their final six, on the road against the Chiefs. Then they're at home against the Lions and Bengals. Then they're on the road, and then they're on the road against the Raiders. Who knows what the Raiders are going to be? Then they're on the road against the Chargers, and then and then they finish up against the Chiefs at home, and that could be a choice too, where the Chiefs could be resting everybody too, when they probably have everything kind of set up. So that could be a case. Really, we could be seeing this, this Bronco team kind of get into the playoffs, and then finally we can talk about Bronco playoff football again for the first time in a while.
5 years, and obviously that was the last time they beat the Chiefs too. So.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see with that. And, who knows with the Chiefs? This could be one of those years where it's just kind of, people really start figuring out the Chiefs or something like that.
Years. No.
Well, it's funny too, because, I think people forget too, it's just like, really, ever since that game, really, the Chiefs offense really kind of stunk it up as far as with that. Really, they really weren't the Chiefs offense that you kind of knew. So, Vic Fangio kind of knew something, and everybody kind of stole that game plan. And really, Tampa Bay worked it to perfection at that Super Bowl, and you saw it.
Their starting left tackles tore his ACL.
Yeah, that could help too.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Vic Fangio figured out some formula.
well, that too, and it's just like really, it's all dependent on health too. It's just a bad injury luck too. Vaughn and Cortland Sutton basically going down in week 1.
Right.
That alone was very, very bad as far as with that. And then having the basically starting a wide receiver at quarterback.
Right.
Really.
I said it was a bad luck year for him last year. That's got to change. And like I said, they have the soft schedule to do it.
They have a soft schedule, and it's just, and I agree with you. This is probably the deepest team we've had in a while. Just kind of seeing the team that they have really, and really the question mark too is special teams. Really, special teams really is kind of a question mark, with the exception of Brandon McManus. But as far as with like kickoff coverage and kickoff return coverage, it's still bad as far as with that. So that could be a factor too.
I don't think that plays big enough of a factor. I think McManus is as steady of a kicker as there is in the league, maybe outside of Justin Tucker. So I said I don't think they're going to be fine. 12-5.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that. I think they go 11-6, and finally we get a winning season, back here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a team that did get to 12 wins last year. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, this is a very, very fascinating team. They got probably a big X factor, really. It's just like, can Jameis really replicate what he did in the preseason? Because he did look really good in the preseason, but can he replicate
Sean Payton, the quarterback whisperer?
Yeah, can he replicate it too? And it's a team too that's really, really top heavy. So if they get a couple of injuries here to some of their big players, we could be talking about maybe like a Saints being a really, really bad team. I think,
but that could happen to anyone. Injuries could.
Oh yeah, injuries. But this is a particular team too. I think if they get a couple of key injuries to some of their key players, it already kind of started with the whole Michael Thomas kind of scenario as well. We will have to wait and see as far as with that. It's going to be a fascinating team. I have them at 9 wins, and I feel like they're going to go slightly over. I think they go 10-7, which I think is a really good year.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that. I think they go 10-7. I think Sean Payton's a good enough coach to get them back to the playoffs at 10-7. There's going to be some growing pains, I think, with Jameis at quarterback, but I think that they're going to be a much better team this year. Or not much better. Actually, I think they take a little bit of a step back, but not far enough of a step back.
Yeah, they take a little bit
decent defense.
Yeah, they still have a decent defense, and again, it's all about injuries. If injuries is a factor, this team could be 5-12.
Well, once again, I think injuries is a factor for everybody. Unless you're the Buccaneers, who are just spending money out of your ass to have like 8 billion like great players on your team.
Yes, we could see that.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, I mean, this is a complete wild card team too. Like they have an X factor, and if that X factor kind of goes their way, they're good. They'll be over. And if that X factor doesn't go their way, they're going to be really, really down this year.
All right, let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. At 9 wins, I think that this is the dumbest projection I've seen on this list.
How so?
I think that they go way over that. Way over that.
I think so, given their division. I really do, because you think you probably
They have a
four
good division. They have a great team. They have Julio Jones now with AJ Brown. Like, they have Derrick Henry, who's a freaking monster. Like, once again, this team on paper is insane.
Here's their first 5 games. They're at home against the Cardinals, then they're at the Seahawks, which I think potentially they could probably win that game. And then they're at home against the Colts. Who knows what and then they're at the Jets and at the Jaguars. So we could be potentially talking about probably being a 4-1 team to start out the season. I mean, it's just going into that Bills game on the 18th. So yeah, we could potentially be talking about them, and that could be one of the games of the year. But then they're home against the Bills, and then they're home against the Chiefs. So that 2 games right there could really tell if the Titans are going to be for real or not.
I have them going 13-4.
That is a bold prediction. Oh my goodness.
They're going to win that division handily this year, Bushy. They're going to win that division by a large margin.
I think, you know what, after kind of thinking about it, I think you're right. Yeah, I think, but it's going to be like but maybe like a 12-5, but it's really going to be like a soft 12-5, or you're going to be like,
I don't think so.
You played a bad division.
Soft 12-5 at all. I think they're a very good team. I mean, they're going to roll.
Yeah, they could roll, and it's going to be fun this year. I mean, we could see. Their question really is the defense. Is the defense going to kind of, and then really, I mean, that
offense, man, that offense.
Yeah, that offense. I mean, but really, and same too with the kicking things too with Mike Vrabel. Remember, I mean, he punted on the Ravens 40 in that wild card game. I think people really forgot about that one. Really, I mean, Mike Vrabel with coaching the decisions as well, and I mean,
he makes some good ones and some crazy ones. He makes some good ones and he makes some crazy ones. I mean, Sam Ficken is their kicker. He's a little bit of a question mark. But at the end of the day, man, I think that this is a 13-4 team and a team that wins their division handily. They might even have a first-round bye.
That's a bold prediction right there. I do agree. I think they win the division. I think they go 12-5. They're definitely going to be over. I don't believe in the 9 wins. Really, their only question mark probably is their defense.
Right now and bet this thing.
Yeah, you should be.
9 wins. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be yeah, I mean, I think we both agreed, like, they're going to go way over. Like, that's going to be the way over mark.
Way over.
For them.
Indianapolis at 9 wins.
I mean, this is a team. I mean, really, this is a team, too, that really has been kind of struck with the injury bug. So I have a feeling this is probably going to be a season from hell team. And actually, this is going to be my poll prediction. They're going to go under. Like, this is going to be under, and we're talking probably a 5-12 team this year. I think they're going to go 5-12 this year. I think because of the injury luck that they've had, and really, I mean, and it's just, I think they're going to go 5-12 this year.
I think they're going to go 5-12 too. Actually, I mean,
yeah,
I hate to agree with your bold prediction, Bushy. I was going to make the same prediction. They might even go 4-13. I don't think they're good.
Really, the only case is really, I mean, Frank Reich really is a good coach. I really do like Frank Reich. I mean, he did get a lot out of Phillip Rivers that last year. Really, I mean, and they were in it too, and they were in it too with that, and they were in it too in that game against Buffalo. I mean, it's just really, I mean, that was a really, really good playoff game that they lost.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember Phillip Rivers in close games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the question too. Yeah, and really, I mean, it's the question too of the health of Carson Wentz. And really, he hasn't shown it yet, and a couple of people have been kind of hurt too. As kind of,
Eric Fisher's a question mark too.
Yeah,
if he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
T.Y. Hilton's on the injury reserve. This just feels like all the makings of a bad luck season.
Yeah,
right now.
I feel like this is a season from hell team. They're going to go 5-12. Take the under. This is a season from hell team right now. Like that, where they just have injuries
on the wall,
bad luck. Yeah, where they just have injuries, bad luck with a couple of games. A couple of freaky plays kind of go against them. We'll kind of see. I think this is a team that's going to go 5-12, and we're going to take the under.
Yeah, we're both taking the under.
I'm surprised it still was pretty darn high given all the injury concerns.
9 was a lot.
Yeah,
and I thought 9 was a lot. I mean, the saving grace for this team is that they get 4 games against the Texans and Jaguars.
Well, who knows? I mean, if Carson Wentz isn't their quarterback, I mean, they could probably lose to the Jaguars to one of those games. And then they could
lose. Even with Wentz, once Lawrence figures it out, they're going to beat the Colts the second time this season.
And they could lose to the Texans. That could be one of those season from hell kind of fluky games where they kind of lose to the Texans at the end.
Yeah. Bad year for them. I don't get how they were this high to begin with. I have them going lower.
I mean, this is a 5-12 team at the most.
Absolutely. Agreed. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. 9 wins there. What are your thoughts on it?
Why are they 9 wins? I really want to know. Why are they 9 wins?
Dak Prescott's back, baby.
Yeah, but he's still hurt. He's still hurt.
He is back. He's got Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb to throw it to. He's going big, man.
But that line is bad. That line isn't what the line was 5 years ago. If he had the line, like he had 5 years ago, oh my goodness, this would be the greatest offense in the world. Really, this would be. But no, and the defense is going to be bad.
Right.
I'm going to take low.
With you, dude.
I'm going to
take being low. Sarcastic. I think they're going to be bad.
But they're America's team, baby. They're the greatest team ever.
Lost to Tampa in their season opener. They lose to the Chargers. They'll probably beat the Eagles and the Panthers and the Giants and be 3-2. Then they go 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, 3-4-5, 4-6.
Yeah, they lose to the Broncos. It's going to be one of those games where the Broncos
5-7, 5-8, 5-9, 5-10, 6-10, 7-10. That's where I have them finishing.
You have 7-10. I agree. I think actually I have them probably like 6-11. I think they vie against the Eagles as the worst team or that third team.
Yeah. They probably do something like it's probably gonna be one of those situations where like the last game of the season, it looks like they're gonna go to the playoffs. They get the game against the Eagles, who have maybe 1 win at that point. And they're battling Washington for that last playoff spot, and then they lose to the Eagles to stay out of the playoffs.
Well, they're on the road. They're on the road against the Giants. The last 4, they're on the road, and then they're at home against Washington and Arizona. And then they finish it up against the Eagles. Yeah,
I have no faith in McCarthy as head coach. I think that it's gonna be a rough. I think they finish 7-10, like I said.
I agree. I think they go 6-11. I think definitely take the under with this Dallas Cowboys team. I did not see this 9 wins. 9 wins is a lot.
9 wins is a lot.
Like you're expecting them to really kind of take over. They kind of go 5-1 against the NFC East, and then they win a couple of games here or there.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
Yeah, it's like you beat the Falcons again in like a crazy thing. Then you kind of beat the Vikings.
They're not going to beat the Vikings.
Yeah, then you kind of beat the Raiders.
They're not going to beat any of those teams.
I know they get Chiefs and then Raiders at the Raiders for the and that's the Thanksgiving game, man. I mean, they're not going to win. Oh my God, we get Bears. What do we do to deserve that, man? I mean, come on, we get Bears, Lions, and then we get Raiders against Cowboys. I mean, what do we do to deserve this? We don't deserve this as football fans.
Way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think we get Pittsburgh, Baltimore. But who knows what Pittsburgh, Baltimore is going to be for that third game?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah. In any event, let's talk about the Vikings. We both agree the Cowboys are under.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
Let's talk about the Vikings. Another one of these fascinating wild card teams, as you call them.
Yeah, they are. Like it really depends on the health of Kirk Cousins, and who knows? I mean, there could be a chance too. He kind of gets COVID and then misses a couple of games. And this is a team too that really, really needs Kirk Cousins really to kind of function on offense. Really, I mean, it's just.
I don't think.
Yeah, I believe so.
He's got great people around him.
He
They
has
have
great people
Dalvin
around
Cook.
him.
He has a great wide receiving core. I don't think if Kirk Cousins gets COVID that this is suddenly a death sentence to the Vikings.
Oh, I think so. I think that
Oh.
I
Also,
think
you're
so.
projecting Kirk Cousins getting COVID. Everyone in the league's probably getting COVID at some point,
Well, I mean, but I think
except for Tom Brady, who
except for Tom Brady.
even though the other 52 members of the Buccaneers will get it, Tom Brady will somehow avoid it.
He has that miracle cocktail that Trump had, when Trump had COVID.
In any event, Vikings, let's talk about them, man. I think they're an interesting team.
I mean, really, the question is the defense. Is the defense going to be good? Really, that's going to be their question, and how the stability of the O-line is going to hold up too. Because really, Kirk Cousins is not a mobile person, really. I mean, and this is a guy that really kind of cowers. I mean, if the pressure gets on him as well, and I think 9 wins is just a little too much. I think a little low. I think they just miss out. I think they go 8-9.
I think they go 10-7.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they go 8-9. Yeah.
10-7.
I think they go 8-9. I think it's just one of these weird teams. Like, it's just like, I don't,
I mean, like I said, the offense just has a lot of weapons. You got to look at that. They have a lot of weapons, and they have, a good defense. I mean, they have at least the main guys, if they can stay healthy this year, to really they really could be a wild card team. I think they're a wild card team.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, I could see that as a wild card team, but then I could see them as just a mediocre team, really, at 8-9.
Yep.
I could see him being a mediocre. I think they're a 500-ish team. This has 500-ish written all over. I could see him go 8-1. This is the perfect 8-1 team. This is the perfect. I think so. I think they're going to go 8-1. They're going to go 500 this year.
All right, you're Bushy's taking the under. I'm taking the over. We'll have to see who's right on the Vikings.
Yes.
Because even if they replace Kirk Cousins with Kellen Mond, they might even get better.
Kellen Mond is not a good quarterback. He is not. He is not a good quarterback.
Neither is Kirk Cousins.
Oh, man.
All right.
Who's
Let's
next?
go to the 9.5 win teams. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Because this is a team that I am shocked is at 9.5 wins. I mean, I think that they, once again, are another one of those teams that's kind of exceeded what they should be doing last year. I think they went 10-6. But like ever since they replaced Fitzpatrick with Tua, like I was not impressed with Tua at all.
Really, he's the big X factor. Is he going to be good or not? I mean, that's the really big X factor if this team is going to. And this is a team that really forced a lot of turnovers last year, and that doesn't carry over the following year. I'm like, that really doesn't. It was a team really that forced a lot of turnovers, and you can't rely on the turnover all the time that year. And really, they start off really tough. I mean, the first 4 out of 5 games, they're on the road against the Patriots, and they're at home against the Bills, and then they're on the road against the Dolphins, or on the road against the Raiders.
Start it.
I think so too. And that one win is probably against the Colts. Really, I mean, it's just, it is a really crazy team. And that we could be talking about just, everybody's like, oh, what happened to the Dolphins? Is Tua really legit? I mean, but really, I mean, the Raiders could find a way to screw up. But remember, that was the game where they had the miracle where Fitzpatrick literally threw a 50-yard bomb while getting face masked. I mean,
they don't have Fitzpatrick anymore.
He's not there anymore. Yeah, we'll have to see with that. I mean, does the offense take a step leap? I mean, it's just, and I think the defense kind of falls off. And I think I'm going to go under with this team.
I'm going under too. I'm going 6-11.
Yeah, I agree with you.
6-11. Let's talk about their division rivals and the team that they're playing in week 1, the New England Patriots. 9.5 wins for Belichick and company.
I have them as a 10-11 win team. I really do. It really depends on the if Mac Jones really is the real deal. And again, it's like he looked good in preseason, but again, you gotta throw out preseason sometimes as well. I mean, it's just, and defensive coordinators can figure you out, and maybe people kind of figure out who Mac Jones is as a quarterback and kind of figure out his tendencies as well. I mean, you can't. yeah, you got to figure that out, compared to, Tommy,
Yeah.
as some with that. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, they kind of have somewhat of a, I mean, they really, I
Not a
mean,
bad schedule.
I know it's not a bad schedule. Yeah. It's kind of a little so-so schedule to kind of start out the year. But really, I mean, after that Buccaneers game, really, then they're on the road against the Texans. I think the Texans are going to be bad, and they got the Cowboys at home, and then the Jets at home, and then they got the Chargers on the road, and they killed the Chargers last year. So I mean, this is a team that really could start out after maybe that Tommy game, and everybody talks about, oh, what's the matter with the Patriots? Tommy has the thing, then they kind of go on a roll. So I have them above. I think they go 11-6.
See, I have them slightly under. I have them it's 9.5 wins. I have them at 9 wins.
Ooh, you're gonna go 9-8 with them. Okay.
9-8. I mean, I think Mac Jones doesn't have the time to have those, like Mac Jones doesn't have like Tommy did, like the Drew Bledsoe to sit behind. He's just coming in and he's gonna have to, I mean, he's in a good system, but it doesn't mean that he's gonna be great right from the get. And I mean, I think that he's going to have a little bit of growing pains, and I think he finishes 9-8.
I could see that as well. It really all depends on how he does. Really, I mean, it really depends on him and how the defense. They're without Gilmore. I mean, this is a team that has a good front seven, but really bad secondary. I mean, so we could be seeing that as far as with the Patriots. I mean, really, we could be seeing, oh, people can throw on the Patriots, that type of thing.
Absolutely, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, Bushy with the over, I'm with the under. So who knows? Maybe you shouldn't be betting it in Vegas. In any event, let's talk about those Chargers. 9.5 wins for the Chargers.
Oh man, I mean this is a team. I mean, really, they got a new coach. I mean, and finally they get fans in the stands with the stadium. But I think that's going to be the problem.
Fans in the stands doesn't help them.
Fans in the, I know, yeah, the fans in the stands won't help them, and especially with some of these games, they play the Cowboys too, like that game, and that's going to be filled with Cowboys fans. Really, I mean, it's probably going to be 65. 65-35 as far as with Cowboys fans. I mean, really, it's going to sound like a Cowboys home game. I really do. And when they do play the Chiefs, when they do play the Broncos, when they do play the Raiders, I mean, it's going to be probably half filled with those teams. And I think that's going to really frustrate Herbert a little bit, because he's going to have to do the silent count. I mean, so
I don't think it's going to be that filled with those fans that they don't. I don't think it's going to be that filled with those fans that it's going to be that bad. I don't think it's going to be as bad as you're making it out to be. It's not going to be like playing in Cowboy Stadium for them.
Yeah. I have them slightly under. I think they go 9-8. I feel like they go 9-8. I think Herbert takes a little bit step back from last year. I think just a little bit. I mean, nothing too much where it's just like alarming where you have to worry about him, but I think it just takes a little bit step back, probably teams kind of figuring him out a little bit as well. And again, a new coach as well. So we'll have to see with that. And I just feel like the Chargers will always be the Chargers. You could plug in any coach, the past 3 coaches that they've had, and they still will find a way to kind of screw some of these games where you just kind of head scratch and you'd be like, how did the Chargers lose this game?
I mean, this is, like I said, I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, they have the pieces. If Austin Eckler can stay healthy on offense, they didn't have that last year. I mean, they have Keenan Allen, who's kind of been Mr. Reliable. Jared Cook's an underrated tight end, but I think I agree with you. I think they kind of muddle around that 8-9, 9-10 mark. They're going to have some of these games that just end up like, okay, they missed the last second easy field goal that they lose. And I mean, I think, like I said, I think they go 8-9 or 9-8.
Yeah, I agree. I think they go slightly under. Yes, I think they go slightly under. Yeah, and I think it's like the Broncos kind of. It's not so much as that. It's more of maybe the Broncos take a little bit of a step up, and then I think the fans in the stands factor is really going to play a factor. I think with that new stadium, I really do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I think they're definitely an under team. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks at 10 wins.
I mean, this is a team, really. I mean, it's a team that should, that should be good. I mean, with Russell Wilson and, and all that, they should be a dominant team. I mean, really, they have a question really at the secondary position. And yeah, that's going to be really a fascinating thing with them. And their schedule is kind of kind of semi-hard, really. I mean, yeah, they got the Colts week 1. Okay. Who knows with that? Yeah. Then they're at home against the Titans. That could be a win, but then they're on the road against the Vikings. And then yeah, but then they're, home. Yeah, but then they're at the 49ers and then home against the Rams. And then they're at the Steelers. I mean, this is a team that kind of could be middling going in halfway through the season, or kind of that first quarter of the season.
I mean, I just don't see that. This is a team that has been good consistently for a long time. I mean, this is a team like you just almost have to trust them at this point. Like they are really good. Pete Carroll, really good. And I mean, this is a team that, like I said, I trust to get it done. I think that they win the division yet again. I mean, this is a team that's always good, and I think they remain good. I'm going over. Big time.
Go over. You're gonna go over big time. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go over. I think they get that 11-6 mark. I really do. I think they go 11-6. And really, I mean, with the other two teams that they're kind of competing with, they could kind of beat each other up, and that could be that 11-6, 12-5. That could win you the division as well. So I think they go 11-6. I think they go over. Yeah, with the infrastructure and with Wilson again. Who knows with like Russell Wilson? I mean, this is kind of year 10, and he's kind of an olderish quarterback. He did start off, a little bit older. I mean, it's just really that wear and tear could finally get on his body.
I mean, I don't think that happens at all. I think this team rolls. I mean, they think they struggle against Arizona because they always do. But I think this is a team that rolls. I think they go 12-5, maybe 11-6.
I think, I agree. I think we're both agreeing on the over though. So I mean, if that's the case, we're agreeing both on the over.
Agreed. Over. All right, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers at 10 wins too.
Really? I mean, this is a team that really kind of takes a step back. I mean, it's just one of those. It's just, does this team take a step back, really? And really, this Rodgers, this Rodgers drama, does it play out? Does it play out a little bit? They do play the Saints, but it's not in the Superdome. I think they moved it.
It's going to be a help.
They moved it to, that could be a little bit of a help for them. And then they're home against the Lions.
Yeah.
And then they're home against the Lions on a Monday night. Why is that a Monday night game? Really, ESPN, that is terrible schedule.
Monday night's been bad for a while. Let's call it like
that.
I don't remember the last time I watched a Monday night football game. Probably whenever the last time was the Broncos played one.
Yeah, but then they're at the 49ers, and then they're home against the Steelers, and they're at the Bengals, and then at the Bears, but then home against the Washington football team. I mean, this is going to be a fascinating team with the schedule. I still think they win the NFC North, but I don't think they're going to be probably as dominant as as they were the past couple of years.
I think they go 11-6.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is definitely an 11-6 team. I think so. Yeah, I mean, we're taking the over, but it's just like they're not going to be as dominant as we thought.
All right, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns with expectations, 10.5 wins.
I mean, is this the year that the Cleveland Browns take the leap? I mean, that's the case. I mean, this is a team that's really started off with the nice momentum.
Great at the end of the season.
They look great. Even with all the COVID troubles, they looked really good. They do have a big test that first game of the season, at Arrowhead. Is it one of the, you're a fully healthy team. Is this, the year, if you really want to show it, you go and beat the Chiefs. Really. I mean,
they won't.
Don't get smacked by it. I mean, I have a feeling, this guy probably gonna be one of those that gets smacked like 45-20. Baker looked completely crap, and then all the Browns fans go, well, here you go. But then the next week they get the Texans at home, and then they get then they get the Bears at home, and then they're at the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to be very good, and then they're at the Chargers.
I think the Vikings beat them.
You think the Vikings beat them?
They're gonna have one game where they Browns it up and lose to someone like that.
That is true. I think this team actually, is actually going to I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I think they go slightly over. I think they get 11 wins. I think they go 11, but I think that's enough really to kind of win the division. I think they win the division at 11-6.
I think they win the division. And I think they go 12-5.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think, and it's just a team, can they replicate what happened last year, or is this one of those? Are they just really just going to Browns it up where they get a ton of injuries and a lot, and then some losses where you go like, how did you lose to this team? Like I could see them losing to the Denver Broncos on that Thursday night, and they go like, we could be talking about that, going, how in the world did the Broncos win that game? Like that was a game the Broncos should never have won.
Yeah.
But and you go, that's right, because they play the Browns.
Blows some other one that they should win. All right.
Yes.
Let's
but I still think they go above though.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Rams, a team that we both saw in preseason last week. Let's talk about the Rams. All right. Are you frozen? Am I frozen? Let's see who's frozen. In any event, I'm going to keep talking like we're still on the air as the Rams, they add Stafford. Is that a lateral move? I think so. They don't have much at running back. We're talking about Sony Michel as like their big gun. Nevertheless, the Rams, Bushy, what are your thoughts on them?
Really, the Rams are kind of this really, really funky team, I think, and we're going to have to wait and see as far as with them. I mean, it's a team that's lost some people too, as far as with the secondary. And really, the big X factor really is Matthew Stafford. Really, I mean, can he stay healthy? If he does, I mean, this offense really could kind of explode a little bit as well, and could promote them as well. But if he's just as brittle can get, I mean, really, we could be talking about the Rams probably being a bad team. And actually, I'm going to have them slightly under. I think they're going to be 9-8. I really do. I think Stafford gets hurt, and I think they're going to go 9-8. And I think the mystique of the Sean McVay, he's the greatest coach ever, kind of fades off this year.
I think you've just predicted a quarterback injury or Kirk Cousins getting COVID for like every team somehow.
No, come on. I predicted that Kirk Cousins, but I mentioned, I'm like, it was the case if he could get COVID because he's not vaccinated.
You talked about like everyone going out.
But that's the X factor, But I mean, I still was like, this team is an X factor. But then, they're still going to win. They're still going to do this. I think, I think
Matthew quarterback injuries already.
It's going to be the year of quarterback injuries. I'm predicting it here. That's my bold prediction. It's going to be the year. It's going to be the year of attrition as far as with quarterbacks.
All right, I have the Rams actually under as well. I think they go 7-10 and finish fourth in this division.
I could see that as well. It's just really that
the Cardinals and the Cardinals and Niners are both taking steps forward. I think the Rams take a step back.
I think so as well. And I mean, we predicted maybe the Seahawks kind of going 12-5, 11-6, kind of win that division. So we think,
and the Seahawks have owned the Rams, I think, right? Haven't they?
Yeah, they've won a few games here or there.
I think they have this. I guess the Rams beat them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, the Rams did beat them in the playoffs though last year with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of years ago, I thought, maybe it was 2 years ago. No, I guess not. All right. Either way, I still think, all right, this is the year then that the Seahawks own them. And the Rams, like I said, finished 7-10.
Fair enough with that. Yeah, I think the Rams are going to be slightly under. I predict them probably that 9-8 range. I think they're going to be a 500-ish team.
It might very well be. All right, let's talk about those Niners then.
Oh, man, like this is. This
10.5 wins. That's a huge jump.
That's a huge jump, from a team. Yeah,
but they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
They were in the Super Bowl, and this is a team really. That just really has had like bad. I know I keep talking about injury luck, but this is a team really that's just had probably the worst injury luck that we've had in quite some time. And and it's a team too. I think if it's a team that if the injury luck goes their way, I could see them winning the NFC East or getting a high playoff seed. They could go 13-4. And really, the question is Jimmy G. When are they going to make the transition from Jimmy G to Trey Lance? That could be the question as well. Trey Lance, he's looked good in some preseason games, and then he hasn't. So
I don't think Jimmy G's this big question mark. He's been good when he's been able to stay on the field. I think last year he was battling injury. So I think last
Yeah.
year's kind of an anomaly. I think he's going to be good this year.
And
He led him to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
You know what? I think San Fran's going to be good. I actually think I think they go 11-6. I think they're the same record as the Seahawks, but the Seahawks win in the tiebreaker. So I say that's how I think both of those teams go 11-6.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks go 12-5 and the Niners go 11-6. So the Niners miss out on the division by 1 game, but they still get a playoff spot.
Yes, they still get a playoff spot. I think they're going to be a playoff team, and I'm going to take the over with them.
Yep, I agree with the over there. We got 2 11-win teams, the Ravens and the Bills. Where do you want to start with those two?
Let's start with the Ravens.
Let's talk about some Ravens football then. What are your thoughts on them?
I mean, this is a team that's really going to be really dependent on Lamar. I mean, their skill weapon
And are you
players.
predicting he's going to get injured too or COVID?
No, he's not going to get injured or COVID, but he's a team that really they're going to really depend on Lamar. And if Lamar's good, I mean, this is a team that I have him probably I think you're right. I think I have them at this 11 win mark. I think they're going to be 11 wins.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be
11 wins is right for them. They're a wild card team.
Yeah, they're going to be 11-6, and I think Browns are probably going to be 12-5, and the Browns actually win the North.
I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It really all depends on Lamar. Really, I mean, if Lamar struggles without these playmakers, that they, I mean, what playmakers
Watkins, though, who is a playmaker.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that, but they really don't have anything else. The J.K. Dobbins injury really kind of hurt them, really in the preseason. So, I mean, it's just going to be like Gus Edwards and then like somebody else, and it all depends on Lamar. If Lamar's good, Lamar's good. Lamar's kind of chugging along. This team's going to be 11-6.
Yeah, I agree, 11-6. So don't take the over, don't take the under. It's 11-6.
It's going to be a push as push can get.
I agree. Push from Bushy. Let's talk about the Bills now.
Buffalo Bills. Okay, this is my team. This is my team this year. This is my bold prediction. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. They're going to be over 11 wins. I think they're going to be 14-3, and I think that's going to be good enough for them to be the number 1 seed. They're going to get the number 1 seed.
See, I still have them taking the 2nd seed, but I think they do get more than 11 wins. Though they went 13-3 last year. They're a good team. They aren't a team that's going to have like this scary schedule because they still get the Dolphins twice. They still get the Jets twice. They get the Jaguars. They get the Texans. They get the.
I don't think they're scared
Falcons.
of the Patriots.
What's that?
And I don't think they're scared of the Patriots anymore.
I don't think so either.
After beating them last year, I think this is a team that's just like, okay, we're not scared of you anymore. You don't have your Tommy anymore. We're not scared of you.
See, I have them at 13-4.
I think they go 14-3. They're gonna win. They're gonna get the number 1 seed. That's Bushy's poll prediction. They're gonna be the number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm in on the Bills this year. I think they're a really, really stacked team, and I think this is a team, like this year, then maybe the next year, and then really kind of falls off a little bit. I think.
I mean, on paper, very good team. I'm very excited to see what they do. I think they win their division handily, and I think they do. Like I said, they do get the first round bye. I have them in as a first round bye. I guess they don't have a first round bye because it's 17 playoffs. So no.
Well, if they get the first round bye, that means they're the number 1 seed.
So I guess I can't. I cancel that. They don't get the first round bye. They hit the 2 seed, and they get the Steelers in week 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah,
which is a win.
I know. I think it's a team that's just going to win it. They really are. They're going to go 14-3 and get that number 1 seed. Who knows with the playoffs?
Yeah, 13-4. I have them. All right, let's talk about your boy Tommy and the Buccaneers at 12 wins.
Our boy Tommy. I mean, 12 wins. I mean, it's I think people forget too. I mean, this is a team that didn't win their division last year, so you're expecting them to probably do 12 wins, and they do bring everybody back. And I mean, this is a team that literally brought everybody back, and I feel like this is the team really.
I don't know.
This is. Oh, I don't know. So I mean, you're having them go with like 13-4 and really kind of getting that top seed, and it's just, I think the NFC is going to be really competitive this year, and I'm going to give them slightly over. I think they go 13-4. I really do. I think they have that championship swagger really. And it's just, but the problem is they do have a target on their back now. So it's just like a lot of these players, unlike Tommy,
Tommy's
they have
had
the
a target on his back for 20 years.
I know. Yeah. So it's, but
not going to change anything.
Can the other guys other than Tommy really kind of replicate that? So I have them slightly over. I think they go 13-4.
I think they go 16-1.
They're going to go 16-1.
16-1.
Yeah.
16-1. They're going to win the Super Bowl again. Calling it. I already bet it in Vegas, actually.
16-1. You already did it. Oh, you're either going to win money or you're going to put a nice curse on Tommy.
That was exactly the goal.
I like it.
I figured if he wins again, I'll at least get my money.
Yes. Oh man, yeah. Well,
16-1.
16-1. Yeah, they're gonna get 16-1, and that one game is probably gonna be that ending thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ending game where they kind of rest everything.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk the
about the Chiefs. So you obviously have the Bills finishing with a better record than the Chiefs do.
I do. I 12.5. So you want them to go 13-4, and really, I mean, they have a chance really to probably do go 13-4. I mean, and I think that's going to be the case. I think that one game against, I think they probably lose to the Bills, and that could be the game that really kind of swings it. I know they're at home against them, but I think that's that one game that could kind of talk about that. And really, I mean, really, and it's a kind of a revamped offensive line. They kind of look good in the preseason.
They're going to be better.
Yeah, but it's one of these cases. I mean, Patrick Mahomes really is kind of brittle. I mean, he's had some injury things in 19 and 20. I mean, if he has a nagging injury here or there, I mean, that could If he has a nagging injury here or there, I mean, that could probably
beat the Broncos in 19 on one leg.
Yeah,
they have Daniel Sorensen headhunting out there. They're going to be fine. They're going to go 14-3 or 15-2. I think they go 14-3. I agree that Bills game swings it, but they win that game in Arrowhead. They go 14-3. They are the one seed in the AFC.
I think they go 13-4. They get that second seed. And yeah.
All right, then let's talk about it. Let's talk about the playoffs. Who do you have as the let's talk about who do you have in the Super Bowl and who do you have winning it?
Oh man, this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I have Buffalo for the AFC. I think Buffalo goes.
Yep.
I think Buffalo goes.
Yep.
And I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think it's gonna be Buffalo against Green Bay. It's crazy to me. I think it's gonna be Buffalo against Green Bay. I think it's one of those they end this Tampa Bay kind of woe that they have against them, and I think it's Buffalo against Green Bay, and I think Green Bay kind of wins it, and then Aaron Rodgers and then everybody can be happy and let Aaron Rodgers kind of let it be.
Yeah, I know. It's Tampa Bay against Tennessee, and Tampa Bay wins it.
Who do you have again? I'm sorry.
Tampa Bay against Tennessee.
Tennessee. Wow, you are really high on Tennessee.
I'm high on Tennessee. I think this is the year they finally get over the hump, and they're getting all their COVID out of the way early. They're gonna go to the Super Bowl, and they're gonna lose to Tampa Bay.
I see. I think everybody talks about like Tommy and this and Tommy and that, and I think I think he kind of drops off a little bit. Really, I mean, it's just really. I mean, I think they kind of drop off a little bit.
Why this year as opposed to every other year for the last 20 years?
You know what? Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, and I think
he wins every year.
I don't think the Buccaneers are going to win it this year.
Give me the Buccaneers. I already put the money's already down in Vegas.
You already put the money down for the Buccaneers.
The money's down.
Yeah. You're just hoping really Tom Brady breaks it, loses his knee,
I mean, I've been hoping it for 20 years. It hasn't happened. So now at this point, I have to be realistic. They're going to win.
Yes.
They're going to win the whole enchilada.
I agree.
They're going to win the Super Bowl by 45 points.
They're going to win it in SoFi. Yeah.
Yeah. In any event, like I said, I got Buccaneers Titans with Buccaneers winning it all. Bushy's got the Packers and the Bills with the Packers winning it all. Can't wait to see it. NFL football finally back. We're excited. We'll post this episode, I'm pretty sure, 1 week before this thing actually gets started, before the first Sunday. Very excited to have NFL football back. We can't wait. We hope you'll join us next week too. I mean, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it's going to be a good time.
Well, we'll probably talk about week one of the college football season, baby. I mean, we got good games. We got Georgia, Clemson right now. I mean, Virginia Tech, North Carolina is kind of over through the roof. I mean, Ohio State, Minnesota, we could probably talk about. I mean, that craziness between Boise State and UCF. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, we got some good games so far, and I'm very, very excited.
I am too. It's gonna be a fun season. Football's finally back. We're excited. We hope you enjoyed our picks. We hope we led you in the right direction on these over-unders. If you are betting them, if you're not, then hopefully you enjoyed the episode. And we hope you'll join us next week. We hope you go back and watch all of our other episodes. Thanks again for watching.
All right. Thank you. Peace.